So I've had a few requests on this channel from people wanting to know why the price of VeChain has been booming as of late, and what is likely to happen next in terms of price changes over the coming months. And of course this is a very hard question to answer, and there are a lot of variables which feed into this question, which we need to consider in our analysis. But before we get to that, guys, if you're watching this channel for the first time and you're a VeChain fan or a VeChain investor, or maybe you just like crypto, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, as you'll be helping me out a lot, and we have lots more VeChain content as well as general crypto content as well. So the first and the most obvious reason which accounts for the recent price rises in VeChain is that the crypto market as a whole has been booming, and to a certain extent VeChain has been lifted up by a rising tide, as have many other cryptos as well, and it's very important that the investor understands why the crypto market has actually been booming. We are living in a time which seems to be defying the laws of basic economics. Nobody knows how this situation with 0% interest rates and excessive money printing on a scale we've never seen before will play out. And so people across the spectrum in terms of retail investors and professional fund managers are all worried about inflation and hyperinflation actually destroying the value of portfolios, especially those which incorporate significant amounts of government-issued currency. And when people worry about inflation, historically one of the ways in which they have addressed that particular concern is by directing a percentage of their capital into stores of value. So we're talking about assets like gold and silver and even commodities like oil and other metals used in industry. But of course in 2021, people, especially younger people, on average do not want to own gold so much as the people in the generation before them. A lot of people prefer to own crypto in comparison to assets like gold or silver. And so crypto is, in my view at least, the new hedging asset for a lot of people. And this is very important because it means that the more inflation that we have in the supply of money, whether that be dollars or pounds or whatever, and the longer interest rates stay at zero, leaving people with no income on their savings, we will likely see a growing and continual stream of people coming into crypto as a hedge and a bet against the US dollar and so on. It's a bit strange because in almost every other asset class you want a good and healthy economy that grows steadily over time and produces more output. But in crypto things are slightly different, in that it's really a hedge against the economy and the performance of central banks and government monetary policy. The more money they print and the more they debase the currency, the less trust people place in it, and inevitably one of the biggest alternatives is crypto, and it's likely that things will carry on in that direction, which means if this strange economic situation carries on, crypto and VeChain will likely continue to benefit from a growing stream of genuine use and investment demand as a hedging asset. Of course we also have the fact that VeChain is and has been a very fast growing organization, and one which has landed a large number of prominent partners and is playing what many people, including myself, believe to be an increasingly important role in the rapidly growing blockchain-based economy. And so the genuine demand for VeThor increases as more companies join on board, and this then increases the income-producing power of VeChain, which of course increases its market value in turn. And the question is, will this carry on and even intensify over time? And the answer to this question is of course subjective. Looking at the past data and extrapolating on that basis, VeChain have had a very high level of growth, and this will probably continue into the future, unless there is some major change in the market conditions or competition in my view. But again, the big factor in the midterm valuation is the general market condition. When we are talking about the long term, every individual project will eventually be priced by the market to reflect its individual earning power and individual future prospects, just like in the stock market where every company is considered on an individual basis. But still, just like in the stock market, a general downturn tends to cast its shadow across the whole market in the short term, until the conditions change and the short-term panic and FUD is diminished and the market returns to a relatively stable condition. But in this video we are trying to figure out what the midterm prospects are for VeChain right now and where we are headed. And the infinite nature of the crypto market means that irrespective of individual value, VeChain, like every other crypto, will be heavily influenced by the general market in the midterm. And as far as I'm concerned, there is a fairly logical and easy to follow chain of actions which are keeping the crypto market growing at a rapid pace. And as mentioned earlier in the video, crypto is mainly a hedge against the traditional financial system. If we take a minute out to look at the context of crypto and where it all started, it was actually born out of the frustration created as a result of the 2008 and 2009 bank bailouts, which followed the Great Recession. And ever since then, monetary policy around the world has become materially worse for many people. The interest rate cuts were meant to be temporary, but here we are 12 years later at 0%, and the quantitative easing, effectively money printing supposed to combat the effects of the pandemic, which it was at first, has now in many cases been used as if it were a magic wand which creates wealth out of thin air and funds any new government program. And so a lot of people feel as if they are being cheated and the value of their income and savings being destroyed by this type of policy. And so as long as this continues into the future, I think that what we are seeing today in terms of people wanting to abandon government-issued currency in favor of crypto is only the very tip of the iceberg. I believe that it was Napoleon Hill who said that nature can't be tricked or cheated. Eventually the price must be paid. And we are seeing a great example of this right now. Countries around the world have built up so much national debt that for many the only way to avoid defaulting on repayments is to inflate the supply of their currency, and therefore reduce its real value. But of course, one of the unintended consequences of this type of behavior is that people lose trust in your currency. People aren't and won't just sit back and watch your life savings and income be destroyed by reckless monetary policy and short-term political thinking. And I for one think that many governments have painted themselves into a very tight spot, and that they will try to kick the can down the road for as long as they can. Nobody wants to be in power when the economy sinks. And so this gives way to short-term thinking, and every administration and every government tries to delay the inevitable that much longer so it doesn't happen on their watch. And so for this reason we can probably count on governments doing everything that they can to continue to keep rates at zero, and continue to debase the supply of money, which will in turn probably send a continually growing supply of people into the crypto market. And so long as the situation stays in play, for me personally and in my humble view, the midterm prospects for VeChain are likely to continue to be fairly good. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more content like this.